Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Offset Haru. And thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Okay guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who may need to hear this as well. A gentleman sent me a message the other day, and he said to me he noticed that a lot of women are turning gay. What he meant was that a lot of women are openly lesbian and bisexual in this time in history. And he wanted to know if it was because men have become so awful, or if it's something that was in women all along. And I've heard this question like a million times. If I had $1 for every time somebody heterosexual, bigoted, or homophobic, or just plain ignorant asked me this question, I wouldn't need no more dollars. I would have all the dollars. I would have everyone that was ever created, right? So, and some people, like I said, some people are ignorant. They just don't know. They don't know how sexuality works. They're not really even trying to be offensive. They just don't know how sexuality works. So they're like, is this something that happens? Like you go through a trauma and you become gay? Like you go through trauma and become PTSD? You know? And I want to say, first of all, that this is not how sexuality works. Most people know their sexuality from the time they're little. I mean, little, like 2, 3, 4 years old. The first person I ever kissed was a girl. Okay, it was before I knew about anything. Nobody in my family told me about it. I didn't see any other women kissing. I just knew she was cute. She tried to kiss me. I kissed her back. I had a crush on a girl when I was I remember the first crush in first grade. And she's still one of my crushes to this day, you know? So sexuality is something that happens before I had problems with men. I had already kissed a girl. Way before. A long time, almost a decade before. So it's not something that happens to you. Like you know, you have a trauma and now I'm a lesbian, you know? That's not how it works. Who you are, your sexuality is a part of your makeup. So a lot of us know young. A lot of lesbians have never been with a man. The ones they call the gold star lesbians, they've never even been with a man to have bad experiences in the first place. So I could see if a woman is bisexual and she chooses to date one sex or the other, because that does happen a lot. A lot of bisexual women get married and they marry one or the other. So I can see that happening. But when it comes to being a lesbian or being a homosexual male, you 9 times out of 10 know your preference early in life, before traumas start to happen. So it's not that, you got treated badly. It was already there. That energy was there. It was there since you were 3 and 4, and what turned you on. I remember being turned on looking at 48 Hours. Some of you might remember this movie. It's dating me, I'm sure, by telling you this. It was a movie with young Eddie Murphy. That's how far back we're talking. And I was turned on by a woman walking out naked in the scene. She just walked out naked. She was, I think, Nick Nolte's girlfriend or something like that. And I remember that was the first time I ever felt or remember feeling arousal. And nobody said, be aroused by that or don't be aroused by that at that point. I found out later that sexuality was not accepted by everyone. And I learned to hide my sexuality because of it. So my whole point is that if a woman is with a woman or a man is with a man, it's generally because of the fact that there is an attraction there. They're already attracted. So it's not like you have a woman who, or a man who's 100% heterosexual, never interested, never even thought about it, and all of a sudden they get their feelings hurt by somebody and they say, hey, I'm going the other direction. And you know why it doesn't work like that? Because they wouldn't be turned on. Arousal has to occur. Now, I guess somebody could decide, like, okay, I'm gonna be with this person and no arousal is there. You know, I guess you could do that, but that wouldn't be much of a relationship now, would it? For you to be in a relationship with somebody of the same sex, but you're not aroused by them. What kind of relationship is that? So generally speaking, I would assume that it's already something that's in the person. It's already part of their makeup if they're going in that direction. A long time ago, this guy wanted me to have a threesome with him and it's a girl. And I was like in my 20s. And I didn't really like him and we weren't going to have a threesome. But he thought we were. And I thought it was a good way to meet this woman, because I was like, oh, he gonna bring women by, so I'm gonna meet these women and basically talk to them and not talk to him was my plan. And that's how it pretty much went down. So he brought this woman to my house one time, the first time, and we were supposed to have drinks together. Now, we already knew what each other looked like. I had seen her picture, she had seen mine. And when she came over and we were sitting there, she was shaking. Her whole body was shaking. And I could tell that this is not something she wanted to do. And he went to the bathroom and I said to her, you don't want to do this, do you? I just said it blatantly because I could tell she was shaking. And she was like, no, girl, but I done talked all this freak shit to him and he's expecting me to do X, Y, Z. And she was so nervous and you could tell it was like, this is not her twist. So you can't make yourself be attracted to someone. You're either attracted or you're not. So I felt sorry for her because I mean, she had talked shit, you know, he was expecting whatever he was expecting. It wasn't happening that day anyway, and I wasn't going to do it, period, which I didn't tell him. I just did this to meet the women that he knew and take them from him because I was sneaky like that back then. So she said that to me and I felt sorry for her. So when he came downstairs, I said, well, you know, I got to get going because I got to rest. I got to work tomorrow. Now, he already knew we were supposed to hang out for a couple hours. So he was like, huh? So I hugged him and I was like, I'm not really feeling her like that. You know, I'm going to just call it a night. And he was like, oh, okay, I got you. Like he had another woman, you know, he had another one he was going to bring. And I was just like, man, this dude is thirsty as hell. So that's how I got her out of it. You know, I told him I wasn't interested in her. So as they were leaving, she turned around and hugged me and she was like, thank you so much. And I started to laugh and I was like, no problem. But it was like, it was obvious that wasn't her thing. You can't make yourself be attracted to someone you're not attracted to. And she was sitting there terrified thinking that, like, how am I going to get out of this after I done told him I'm going to do X, Y, Z? Now me, I would have just been like, I changed my mind. I just would have said I changed my mind. But she was scared and she didn't want to, you know, some women don't want to upset the guy that they like, you know, so she didn't want to upset him. And that was never a problem for me. I'll upset you in a minute. But she didn't want to upset him. So I got her out of it and we moved on. But my point of the matter is that if it's not something that you're into, it's not going to happen. So nobody turns you gay. You already had your sexuality going on and you either chose to embrace it or not. Now, are there women who are bi who choose one or the other? Yes, because most bi people eventually make a commitment to somebody if they want to. So yeah, that does happen. But a heterosexual person just totally turning away from the opposite sex, it had to have already been there. The thought, the feeling, the curiosity, it had to have already been there. Or they're not even going to think of that. You don't have heterosexual people walking around thinking, maybe I'll try and be gay today. Think about that for yourself. As a heterosexual person, those of you that are heterosexual, when did you know you were heterosexual? When was it obvious to you? And I'm willing to admit, or I'm willing to bet, I should say, that 9 times out of 10, you knew pretty early in life. And for those of us who are not heterosexual, I'm also willing to bet you had an inclination, in the very least, early in life. Most of us hide it or bury it because society isn't very accepting of it at different points. It depends on what time period and what culture you're talking about. But most of the time, it's problematic at least. So many of us will figure it out and hide it, but we figure it out young. So no, it's not that some awful man came and destroyed your sexuality and now you just can't possibly be with another man. Nah, that it was already there. It was already there, and they had another option, so they just took it. That's the bottom line. That's exactly what happened with me. It was already there from the beginning. Like I said, women came first. And after dealing with men for a certain amount of time, I was like, I got a better option. I'm gonna leave this one alone. But I had an option. It was already there. If I had never liked women or been turned on by women, it's no way in God's green earth I would have just one day thought of it and then ran off to the Casbah with a lady. So I think that a lot of men, I think a man who's confident and a man who's secure wouldn't even ask a question like that. He wouldn't even care. Because a confident man is not competing with other men or women. A confident man knows that he is the shit, and he's sought after, The only kind of men I've ever seen who felt some type of way and felt as though it had to be because of something that happened with a man were usually men who were insecure. And of course, they can't phantom a woman not wanting to be with them. These ego-driven men that are insecure, and it's not all of them, but the ones that are, can't phantom a woman not wanting to be with them. Even a straight woman. If a straight woman tells them no, they assume she's a bitch, she's gay. They throw all these labels at her. They can't just say, maybe she's not interested in me. And if a gay woman is like, a lesbian is like, I don't deal with men, they automatically assume, oh, it had to be trauma. Because who wouldn't want to be with me? Who wouldn't want to be with him? Because he's smooth and handsome and this and that. But bottom line is that you not somebody's twist. And that's okay too. But those types of people, because there's women like that too. Those types of people can't phantom what I'm talking about. They can't even think in that dimension, because once again, like I said, in their mind, in their ego, who would not want them? What woman would not want to be graced with his body, And if you don't, you must have been traumatized, you poor thing, and that's what they go into. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, I had a better choice, dude. A better choice for me. Because for somebody else, that might not be a better choice. For somebody else, it might be a different choice. Everybody gets to make their own choices. That's the point. In romance and relationships, what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. So remember, when it comes to sexuality, it's a lot more personal than some people would think. And it has less to do with what you've been through. It's like nature and nurture simultaneously. It's not one or the other. Some of that is nature. I came in the door like this. I came in the door like this. And then some of it, of course, is nurture, but not what I came in the door with. If I came in the door with it, it was already there. So that's my answer. That's my answer to the question. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And If you have a question for me, please email me or send it to me on social media. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me and I'll give you an appointment. If you would like to become one of my patrons on Patreon, this is a good time for it, because I'm going to be doing another episode of the Witch Trials on Saturday. So if you want to check that out, this is a great time to sign up. Likewise, come back soon, because I have a whole lot more to say. See you later.